Well, hello everyone. This is Father Matthew Graham here. I know it's been, several weeks since I've provided a parish update. The Masses this weekend, I said I would, and so it's taken some time to get things together, but I hope this is beneficial for all of you, whether you're watching live right now on Facebook, or for those who are watching as I post this to YouTube. I hope this becomes a regular part of our parish, providing you updates along with everything else that we do, that this is helpful for you, but also, as always, look forward to having some feedback from you as well. So here's kind of a summary of what I'll be covering in our parish update for today. Kind of first a reminder about an online class I've been doing, talking about masks at Mass, mass location changes, possibly. Also the need for volunteers, talk about our missals, office hours, and collections. So this is kind of a quick update for everybody. And so let's start off talking, remind everyone about a class that I have been doing online. I took a break last week with everything going on. And so I'm going to try again tonight, starting at 7 o'clock on Facebook Live here. Or here's a link for those who may be able to join. Looking at Chapter 3 of Rejoice and Be Glad by Pope Francis. It's a reminder, it's a document on the call to holiness. And so what I've been going through as I've gone through this book, this document, is kind of looking some wonderful reflection for us on a call to holiness. And for this is truly looking at that idea of the all we're called to. And the last couple of classes kind of talked about what are the enemies towards that. And tonight actually is a beautiful reflection looking at the Beatitudes and how well that ties into where the readings we were both picking up for daily Mass as well as in the weekend, kind of serving a refresher what we covered during the beginning of this liturgical year. So hope you're able to join me. If not, I will be recording it like I've done the previous two. They have been uploaded, and then I will upload this one later this evening or tomorrow for those who cannot join in. But as always with Facebook Live, you can go back and look at everything that has been recorded. So hopefully this will be helpful for you. So let's talk about something that I know is very, not say controversial, but kind of creating a little stir amongst people. And that's the idea of masks at Mass. So this is the graphic that was departed by the Department of Health for Louisiana, and it is the new norm. And it is something that our bishop has asked us to kind of reiterate for everybody at this point of what's going on. As you noticed from the news yesterday with the governor, that we are not moving on to phase 3 because of the increase of things. And there's a lot of things about it, but here kind of is the good graphic showing of why we need to do this, but also it's something required at Mass. So, as you see, it may be a little hard to hear at the moment, but here is a Mass that a parishioner made for me, and now I have one in every liturgical color, so you'll be seeing that. But this is something that is still required to come to Mass. However, as I mentioned at the Masses this past weekend, a little stipulation to help people out. So the goal is that you need to wear this as you come in and as you are seated. Also, when we are giving some type of response and singing. But if you need during Mass to lower it, to kind of get that cool air, to catch your breath, do those things, that is okay. So what I'm asking you to do is maybe during those times when you listen to the readings only, or the homily, or those kind of parts where you're not doing anything in the Mass, you can lower your mask like this. Now don't grab it off, rip it off, but at least keep it. But when we get to those parts of the Mass when we need to say a lot, such as the singing the Hallelujah, saying the Creed, or some of the Mass parts, I ask you to please put it on. Also, when you're going to communion, to please wear it, as I am wearing it as giving out communion. And then especially as you are leaving, just to remember, we're in a building. And once you get outside, if you need to take it off, by all means. But the biggest thing is for not us to get complacent and really just to help each other out. Now, some people say, well, I don't like it. But it's much more than just about us. It's also a courtesy to others. And truly, helping each other out. Now, also, just kind of telling people, if you see someone cough, if you see someone sneeze, don't give them evil eye. Just like I mentioned at the very beginning, when all this was starting, that one weekend where it became optional, that, a lot of us like me still have allergies, or just kind of get things in your throat, or I just sneeze regularly because of my own allergies. So to kind of avoid that evil eye to people with things that are going on. So just wanted to reiterate that, yes, Masks are required coming to Mass, but you can lower them during it. Those parts you need to breathe, those parts where you're just listening. But when there's a response that needs to happen at Mass, please put them back on, and then for coming to receive communion, and then when leaving. All right, so speaking about Masses, I know everyone's wondering, when are we going to have Masses maybe returning to St. Jules? And it's been very helpful to have everything at one church. But now a lot of the big events, such as First Communions, have been completed, and there seems to be a regular kind of Mass attendance, plus also looking at daily Masses. And so my always concern is I'm still not sure about some of the weekend Masses, what attendance will ultimately look like. So here is a tentative, and I repeat, tentative, not starting this weekend, but hopefully starting next Monday, moving some of the daily Masses back to St. Jules, and then probably that weekend, at least the 8:30. So this is what I'm thinking about, and again, this is all tentative. So for Mass times, Saturday, 4 p.m. for right now, staying at St. Elizabeth. It's very hard to tell what the crowd is, but it's far exceeding, I would think, what we could hold at St. Jules. And so for right now, I'm going to keep the 4 p.m. Mass at St. Elizabeth. For Sundays, 8:30 a.m., hopefully return that Mass back to St. Jules. Not for this weekend, but for the following weekend, which would put it for, I think, July 5th, I believe, or something. So I'll have more information in the bulletin this weekend at the weekend Masses. 10:30 seems to be a good time for most people, so we keep that at St. Elizabeth. Really, then the only other Masses that are moving would be the Monday and Thursday, back to St. Jules, kind of like it was beforehand. So for the daily Mass schedule for the weekdays, Monday, 6 p.m. at St. Jules. Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. at St. Elizabeth. Thursday, 6 p.m. at St. Jules. And Friday at 8 a.m. at St. Elizabeth. Again, looking at starting next Monday, because really what I'm trying to do here with the Masses is for St. Jules, it'll be a little bit different for communion. And it's a little easier to figure that out during daily Mass rather than a weekend Mass. And so that gives me the flow at least 2 Masses before reaching the weekend of how things will go with that. So again, I know that graphic kind of went up quite quickly, but I will be trying to post it on the website and developing that. So just to kind of give people information about that. So I know people are very excited about Mass returning back over here to St. Jules, and I'm ready to start having Mass over here at St. Jules. A reminder too about confessions, promoting this, and maybe I'll start putting signs up to remind people. So confession times are Saturday at 3 p.m. and then 30 minutes before each daily Mass. And we're trying to maintain that. We'll see how things go with the confessional at St. Jules. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to work that out yet, but we'll provide some direction for that. It may just have to be behind the screen at St. Jules for the time being because of the social distancing. But again, this is where wearing your mask comes into play. Also, just kind of again promoting everyone about adoration. So kind of maintaining that same schedule with everything for what we've been kind of doing already. So Mondays and Thursdays will be at 5 p.m. So an hour before the daily Masses. And then as well as also looking at continue Friday mornings at 7 a.m. at St. Elizabeth. So trying that, it seems to be working well, encouraging people to come. And I know a lot of people are, finding ways to come pray, and maybe you're still not comfortable coming back to Mass yet, but this is another for one way. Again, starting this with a change of Masses, looking starting the week of June 29th, which is a Monday. And that kind of returns us back to the normal schedule that we had beforehand. But along with all of that, just a reminder to people, and this is why I want to kind of challenge all you of my parishioners and those around. Yes, there is a general dispensation from the Sunday obligation. But if you are able to go to Mass, then you should attend at least one Mass a week. And not to kind of criticize anybody, but here's just a challenge that really, even though there's no Sunday obligation, we are still called to keep Sunday holy as a day of reflection, a day for the Lord, a day for rest. And so even though there will not be an obligation to attend Mass, we should still keep Sundays as important days for us to pray. But also realizing too that the TV Masses are, while they have served a great purpose for a while, are no substitute for the actual attending of Mass and receiving communion. So my challenge to you is if you have not returned back to Mass yet you are able to, it's my encouragement to at least start attending one Mass. I'm going to reflect on it later this week and make a decision, but more likely after this weekend, I will stop recording a recorded Mass. Just because with things are picking up in the parishes, and it is a lot to put all this together, just like these parish updates. It takes time to provide for the graphics and how make sure everything is flowing. So I'm going to reflect by the end of this week and make that announcement whether I will continue to record a weekend Mass or not. And if I don't, then I'll go back to at least recording a homily, and more likely it'll be just audio only, but just to um, put that word out there. So we've kind of talked about, kind of going back to our summary, we talked about online class, mask at Mass. I know it's a kind of tongue twister. Mass location changes. Now let's talk about volunteers and what I'm talking about that. So what we're looking at needing as we kind of resume a lot of things is I need greeters for each weekend Mass. As for many people are very familiar with in the past with a lot of things is that we were very fortunate to have ushers to come. Well, a lot of our ushers are older and some are not coming because out of concern of their health or are not comfortable continuing on that role. And even that role of usher is changing because, well, we're right at the moment no longer doing collection as normal as well. So what I really would like to start having is a greeter for each weekend Mass, for people to hold that door open, to greet people as they come in, and then to help them if there's any questions or maybe find a seat. But I think that would be a wonderful way if you're interested, whether you're a teenager to an adult, here to have that from a good familiar face for some people or someone just to greet them as they walk into the churches. So I'm looking for greeters to greet people as they come to Mass. But the bigger thing that I really need is, especially if we're going to start using another church, is cleaning crews for Masses. Some churches can afford professional people to come in. I do have a part-time kind of church cleaner, but they can't do every Mass. But really, along with these greeters, I'm going to need people to start signing up to be cleaning crews for Masses. So really, after each Mass, helping to clean. I've been very grateful for our Carmelite sisters and a few volunteers who will stay after almost every Mass and clean. But if we're going to start adding another Mass, another location, the sisters can't do everything. And so I'm in need of volunteers quickly just to help. We will provide the supplies. And really more, it's just wiping down the pews, and we have it. It's nothing toxic. And so if you are interested, and if we can get enough people, then I can, make me more comfortable. If not, you're going to hear me repeat, and then I might have to make a decision. If I can't get people to clean, help after Masses, then I might have to consolidate Masses back to one church, and that would be St. Elizabeth for the time being. So it's a lot for us to take on here. So just to kind of please start praying about that, and I'm going to kind of promote it over the weekends and really start asking for volunteers. And maybe if we can get at least 2 crews for every Mass. That way, one weekend you're on, one weekend you're off. So those are things that I know are needed. The next thing also too is talking about returning of ministers, and that's been a common question as well. Now that things have kind of settled in and where we're going, we are still definitely in need of readers, and I know we're trying to work on a schedule for that. Eucharistic ministers, as of right now, will probably need help at St. Jules, at least 1 minister per Mass, just to help me if I have the idea I have kind of in my head of how to approach this. We definitely need some Eucharistic ministers to return to help with Mass at St. Jules, but also at St. Elizabeth, maybe 1 additional minister to go around to those who can't come forward and to go to our music ministers up in the choir loft. Also with that is also returning of altar servers. And way things are going, I have my seminarian for the summer, Hugh Tran, has been helping. Also our deacon candidate, Wheeler Oshwald, has been helping. So now that I'm getting comfortable with what we can and cannot do, I'm also comfortable having certain altar servers come back, and that will allow us to have processions again into the Mass and just help setting up the altar, but maintaining still those kind of things of wearing masks, protecting themselves, and not trying to put them in any type of position that could compromise their health. And so if you are comfortable in helping in any of those roles, if you've done in the past, or now it's like, Father, I've been discerning I need to be more active in helping with the liturgies, here's your way of now being active with that. So to putting that kind of general call out there. So I'll be working on some information to send out to people to see who's interested in returning and those who are not. So speaking of also participation at masses, I know a lot of people have been missing, especially for the weekends, this thing, which is our weekend missalette, which also not only has the readings, but also our songs. So after consultation with the staff and also talking to the parish council, what we're going to do is actually, you buy your collection, your tithing that you give, well, you help purchase these every year. And so instead of them just sitting there not being used the rest of the year, what we're going to do, and this is where I need greeters to help me out, is to hand one to everyone. And now once you have it, it is yours. We don't want it back. Unfortunately, if I find it in the pews after you've left, I will throw it away or have to burn it. But these are going to be yours. And that way you can start bringing something every week into Mass that helps you to follow the Mass readings, as well as also the hymns, the songs. Now, this doesn't help with daily Mass. That's where this, so starting this weekend, I'm going to start handing these out to everyone who comes in who would like it. And these are yours to keep. Just encourage you, please bring it to every weekend Mass. And once we run out, we run out. But I have a feeling we won't. But we'll be doing that. So please be aware of that coming up. As far as daily Mass, our Word Among Us for July and August just came in. So I will have those in the back of St. Elizabeth. But also I know I need to do it also at St. Jules. So some people drop by here and are more comfortable doing that. We'll have a few of these in the back of the St. Jules Church, and as well as they'll be in the back of the St. Elizabeth Church. So these are the Word Among Us for July and August. And then finally, for update is looking at, let's see, get my screens up here correctly, is collections. So we have here a reminder that we have a second collection this weekend, which is Peter's Pence, which supports the projects of our Holy Father, Pope Francis. And so that second collection will be happening. So as far as that we'll do is we'll put an extra basket out for that. So one basket we'll try to label is for regular tithing. And then there'll be the second basket that's going to be for those envelopes for Peter's Pence, or if you just want to throw some cash in for that. That way we know we have money going towards that second collection. We're very grateful for everyone. There's still support of the St. Vincent de Paul. Those are those envelopes that you receive. But a lot of people have been kind of grouping them together with the general collection, whereas this is really a separate kind of bank account, and they are kind of a separate ministry within the parish. So we're asking if you kind of tithe to our St. Vincent de Paul, please just to write a separate check. Otherwise, we have to go through our accounting practices of depositing money, then cutting them a check since it's a different account. But just to kind of put it out there, and we'll kind of talk about it this weekend. And then finally, for the collections, I know many of you have rice bowls probably still that you put together during Lent, and we told you to hold on to them, and now we're kind of reminding ourselves of things that haven't been done yet. So if you have rice bowls from Lent that are just kind of sitting there collecting dust, or still want to give to it, you can find it. We're going to have some boxes in the back of the church so that we can start collecting all those again. So we're going to try to do that over the next 2 weekends or 2 weeks, kind of reminding people about all those items. So those are kind of the things just to kind of remember about collections. So let's look at our summary here, make sure we kind of covered everything here. So one thing I forgot to mention is about office hours. So right now what we've been doing is kind of reduced, the staff has been kind of coming in and out, and this past 2 weeks they've been coming in on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays from 8:30 to noon. As now everything is coming back up and we're more comfortably around more each other. So starting next Monday, we will return to the normal office hours, which will be 8:30 to noon and 1 to 3 p.m. on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Fridays. Wednesdays will still be the office closed, and that's my day off. So just to kind of let you know, the office hours will be returning back to normal starting next Monday. So if you don't hear from us, that's the reason why. All right, well, I think that's a good parish update going on now. So hope this helps provide a lot of good information for you with things going on, things coming up. We are hoping to start some programs once again. I'll have more information next week about that, but also look in the bulletin this coming weekend with some updates as well. So to those who are still watching me live on Facebook, if you want to stick around once I kind of close the video, please do so. To those who are watching this later on YouTube and get it by Flocknote, or online, please leave a message for me by responding to the flock note or emailing me if there's anything you need more information about or anything that I can clarify for you. Hope this has been a good parish update for you. And again, knowing my prayers for you, and look forward to seeing more of you return back to Mass, but also around the parish as things start occurring. Take care, praying for you, and God bless.